Hey everyone, it's Nick here, and today this is kind of a special video to you guys. Not necessarily what you would call a 1000 subscribers special, so I'm not going to call it that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys more than one version of a game. You might ask me why. Well, it's just so you guys can see what the other versions are like. I originally was going to do the CPC, Game Gear, and Genesis versions as well, but I haven't really played those. I can't get a CPC emulator working. The Genesis version, when I played it, it sucked, and I'm thinking the Game Gear version is going to be the same as the Genesis version. And the ones I'm going to show you are the Game Boy version, the NES version, the Super Nintendo version, the MS-DOS version, and the Commodore Amiga version. Now, I actually own the Game Boy and Super Nintendo version, but I don't own any of the other versions. I'm trying to get the NES version, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to get it. It's not necessarily a rare game, but it's one of the uncommon ones. So, yeah. And this video is about 40 minutes long, so I hope you guys like unscripted stuff, because I really don't want to bore you guys to tears, because it's just me talking about the game, and it's kind of unscripted, and yeah, so I don't want to bore you guys to death, but if I do, I do apologize. I'm going to do this with another game too, except it's not going to be a different platform. It's actually going to be the same game on the same console, but it's going to be like the different regions. So like the Japanese version and the European version, not just the US version, because they're different. So anyways, this is kind of like a special treat for me to you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So enjoy the video. Alright, so we're going to kind of work our way to the top here. We'll start out with the Game Boy version, which I do own. So you select your Paperboy. Now, there's a weird thing about the music in this game, and I'll get to that in a second. Okay, it's not a weird thing, but it's something that should probably be noted. So here's the newspaper, and yeah, tells you what you can do. But this is the only version of the game, at least that I know of, and I think the DOS version doesn't have it either, but this version does not have the drums. It doesn't matter anyway, it's just a simple beat, but let me turn the music up just a little bit. So, the papers don't fly as diagonal as they do in the console ports. The music is ported directly from the NES version, and due to I researched this game's music deeply and found out that Nick Eastridge is, I don't know for sure if he composed the music, but he's a very likely person to have composed the music, because I don't think that Tengen actually developed the game. I think Mindscape did, which if they did, then he would be the composer. But this also has the graphics from the computer version, and see, the hit detection cannot be it's not the best, but what I meant earlier was the graphics are from the NES version. It looks like some Super Nintendo stuff made it in here too, but anyways, as you saw just there, I died and I didn't touch the guys, but I still managed to get hit, so that is one thing I don't really like about the game. The graphics are actually pretty good, but on the NES and Super Nintendo versions, they're unacceptable. They're awful, and when I lose all my lives, I'll show you how the Super Nintendo version works. Or I mean, the passwords, how the passwords work, because they could be programmed a lot better, and the way you enter in passwords is just awful. So I'll get to that later. So for those of you who haven't played Paperboy before, you pretty much deliver papers to your subscribers' houses without damaging their houses, and then try to destroy and obliterate your non-subscribers' houses. Now the music in this game, I know I talked about it before, but yeah, it's good, but it does not fit the theme of Paperboy. It's kind of got like a jazzy improv version, and if you don't know what improv means, it means you pretty much like play like stuff on the spot, pretty much like compose like right there, like done there. And it's good that the composer tried to do his best work, but it's just not, for this game. And the training course music is just annoying as crap. Although I guess you can't beat the original, but I mean, it's not because of that, it's just because the music, like I said, it's good. I have no problem with it. The Super Nintendo version sounds lovely, at least to me, but it's just that it just does not fit in the Paperboy categories. Here's the training course music. As you can see, some of the jumping sound effects are gone. And see, they managed to make some kind of MIDI converter that also picked up the velocity. You know, back then you normally programmed the music on NES and Game Boy, but a lot of US companies usually converted MIDI files. They'd find some workaround, and so that's the Game Boy version. But before I quit, again, let me show the password option. Let me kill myself here, and I will show you guys the password system, because the way it works is pretty crappy. It's 4 characters, and that's fine. That's fine. It's a lazily programmed high score screen. All the versions have that. Now, okay, now take a look at this password option. It's the root thing, which is okay, but you press left and right to change the numbers. You can't change them one at a time, so that makes for a tedious password. Now, I don't remember the passwords, but there's Easy Street, Middle Road, and Hard Way, and certain passwords would get you to those. So and after you beat all 7 weeks, they'll give you a password. Now, in the original game, they gave you 3 lives, and I mean Paperboy 1, they gave you 3 lives, and here they give you 5 lives, but you're gonna lose those lives a lot quickly because there's a lot more hazards, and they did come up with a lot more obstacles, so that's pretty cool. And I don't think you can go back, can you? Oh, you can. Let's try Route 99. See where. Okay, so it's Easy Street. Alright, so that's the Game Boy version. Let's move on to the NES version. Okay, so here's the NES version. And copyright 10 alright. And by the way, if you guys don't know, this game is a licensed Nintendo game. It was not an unlicensed Nintendo game. Now, first of all, look at Paperboy. I mean, look at the paper people, I guess is the proper term. They barely have any color, and this game was made in 1992. That's unacceptable graphics, and it's the graphics in game are even worse. Now, okay, that's being black and white, that's fine. In the SNES version, it's in color, but I mean that's fine. And at first the graphics might not look too bad. You might go, hey, it's a pretty cool looking game. But look at this guy, this basketball player. And where's the other guy? Why isn't he here? I mean, is he playing basketball with his imaginary friend? I mean, why did that happen? So as you can tell, the music has the drums, but it's just a really simplistic beat. The drum loops like every 10 seconds. And, you got the monochrome old people on the porch, and the car, and the pit bull, or the box, or whatever it is. And I think that sounds from Conan for the boss, I don't know. But, I mean, look at the colors on this game. They suck. And this is 1992. Now, if this was like 1985 or something, I'd be okay, I would accept that. But this is 1992. There is no excuse. And this was like, I think the Super Nintendo was out then, was it not? I don't know. So, I mean, so you can crush the car on that guy. And it's I think it's like a purple DeLorean in the NES or in the Super Nintendo version. And as you knock this guy over, and see that mark, it's like black and white, it's monochrome. I mean, did they develop this game on an Apple Macintosh or an Apple II? I mean, I know most NES games were programmed in MS-DOS, but even then, MS-DOS had quite a few colors, and and I understand this is a U.S. developer, and the U.S. companies didn't really get a lot of help from Nintendo. They had to pretty much figure stuff out themselves. But it's just the graphics that are awful. And even with this flaw, that's what I consider the main problem with this game, just the graphics. Other than that, the controls were pretty fluent. My big problem though with the game is controls though, is that sometimes the game can kind of slow down and make you go slow, then you end up crashing into something, and this is obviously due to the processing speed of the NES. It can't really handle it. So here's the training course right now. So here you go. Just jumping over the gray water. So yeah, not a whole lot here. I already made it, but look at the people, man. Though that's the worst graphics for people I've ever seen in a video game ever. Not to diss on the people who did the graphics or anybody did the graphics. It's almost as if they had like 1 second to like do the graphics, and they were like, okay, well, I guess you can't color them in a whole lot. So so this is pretty much just a waste of time. I'll try one more level here. I didn't rate the Game Boy version. I give that one a 3 out of 5. Just the fact that it's pretty hard, you know, maybe I changed my mind. No, I'll give it 4 out of 5 because it's just the difficulty factor, and it just was not really meant for Game Boy. And I don't think many people would want to play this game on the go. It's not that kind of game, really. Now, funny story about Paperboy. My dad was actually a Paperboy, I think, when he was like 9 years old. So I actually had the balls to ask him, did you actually have to put up with stuff like this? Like dogs chasing after you and, you know, crazy ladies running after you? And he told me, no. So I was kind of expecting him to say that. I mean, I'd be pretty surprised. But I should ask him about the stuff with Paperboy too. Like, hey Dad, when you were a Paperboy, did you have gargoyles firing at you from a mansion? And you know, the cover art for this game does not really help the game's reputation. It just shows a kid on the bike, obviously the Paperboy, and that's pretty much it. It's like they even had to make the cover art in 2 seconds, huh? So, I mean, the graphics aren't in this game are the worst thing I can say about this game. Other than that, the game is really good, and I think it's a successful successor, or if you're the irate gamer, predecessor to the original Paperboy. And I think they did a really good job with this game. Again, you know, if I could change one thing about the game, it would be the graphics. And again, music's good. But it just does not use it just does not sound like something that'd be in Paperboy. It sounds like something that'd be in some kind of like, I don't know, some kind of like casino games. I guess those kind of games use jazz music, but that's kind of what this is. But I understand, if the composer did try, you know, it sounds like the composer did try to make a good soundtrack, you know. And by the way, this version, the computer versions, and the Super Nintendo version, the Game Boy version, there's only 2 songs in the entire game. No ending music, no game over music. So it sounds like this game was really rushed. Like they had to make this game like a day or something. Now, I actually talked to one of the programmers who programmed the game Win, Lose, or Draw, which I also did a video of. He told me that game was made in a week. So, I mean, just tells you, rush games do not do good, you know. What's with that guy on the right? He's like laying down for some reason. It looks like he's trying to read a book or something. I don't know. And what's with Paperboy? It looks like that bike's going up his ass. So, there's Paperboy 2 on the NES. I give this version... again, 3 out of 5 because the music does not fit in the game. It's good, but it does not fit, and the graphics are atrocious and unacceptable for a 1992 NES game. Now, let's check out the Super Nintendo version. Alright, so here we are with the Super Nintendo version. Now, again, for a Super Nintendo game, this game does not have a lot of color. Now, Paperboy does look okay, you know, I'm not going to say he looks bad, but it's still, and also the password system, like the other versions, is still screwed up. Now the sound effects are supposed to fade out rather than just stay like that, but again, you know, an emulator cannot catch, you know, perfect emulation of a game, you know, cannot simulate or emulate a game perfectly, but just be warned. Now again, the music's the same, but they spiced it up a bit, and I died there. It's kind of hard to get on that, get through that ramp. So I hit the scarecrow, and again, not a whole lot of color. Now, this is what the NES version should look like. Okay, maybe not the grass, that looks a little too good, but still. I gotta turn the volume down because I don't want to wake anybody up here. But, I mean, and again, the sound effect's supposed to fade out rather than, you know, just stay like that. But again, you know, this is emulated, and I would record this off my TV, but I just wanted to do something that was in better quality. Now, again, unlike Paperboy, you can obviously shoot to the left and right, and you don't have to shoot one direction at a time. You throw papers to the left by pressing B, you throw papers to the right by pressing A, at least that's how it is in the computer or in the NES versions. I think in the computer version it's Control and Alt. So, I mean, as you can see, they added, like, again, this is what the NES version should look like, and this is not what the Super Nintendo version should look like. Now, I'm not expecting the graphics on this version to be like Sunsoft or anything, but look at everybody in this game. They look like, you know, I would say they look like Indians or like Redskins, but that's kind of being racist. So the closest thing I could say to that without making any racist remarks is everybody looks like they've been sunburned. I mean, even the Paperboy looks like he was just took a trip to the sun or something. So you jump over these ramps, and yeah. And I love that slap bass, and if you've played James Bond Jr., you'll know that some of the instrument samples are exactly the same, which also leads me to believe Nick Eastridge is the composer. Now I know Nintendo lent like a bunch of companies like their instrument samples, but this is not, a lot of game companies would usually make their own instrument samples, and Tengen or Mindscape, whoever the developer is, decided to do that. And this kind of reminds me of Back to the Future with those guys carrying the glass and the furniture. Now you might say, you know, you said before that the Super Nintendo version's music sounded beautiful, and it sounds like crap. Well, again, let me reiterate that I'm playing this emulated, so it's not going to sound good. The Super Nintendo version, the actual, like, hearing it legit, is a lot better, and I'm not joking. Now, I've heard SNES actually tries to emulate it. Look at those people! They still look like crap! I mean, it's unacceptable. It's just completely unacceptable that they did that. And I don't know if I'm a pig, but look at my nose. Is that supposed to be some kind of cop joke, you know, like in Wayne's World? I smell bacon. I mean, seriously. And again, it looks like him and the cop got a bad sunburn. What happened? It's funny how Paperboy's eyes are only 2 pixels long. The Game Boy, or the game over screen actually looks pretty funny. It shows your guy hiding his face from the camera, so that's funny. Oh, that's another thing I'll have to ask my dad about, if there were any ghosts chasing him while he was doing paper routes. And I don't know why when you hit them, they just stop, like you killed them or something, or you froze them like a Medusa. This game should be called Medusa Boy. I mean, every time you hit something, it just stops. Like, you know, like it's been turned to stone. I don't know what's up with that. And also, this version of the music does have something similar to the original Paperboy theme. More cowbell. Oh yeah. I'll turn it up just a little bit. Yeah, more cowbell. That's what I'm talking about, bitch. More cowbell is where it's at. Anyways. Let me get a hold of myself before I get too crazy. Now the PB market thing is actually colored. At least it's not monochrome anymore. And see that lady stepping out of the car? I guess that's supposed to be Betty Boop or something, because she's fucking black and white. That's my major gripe with this game. I've never seen so shitty of graphics on Super Nintendo. If you know a Super Nintendo game that has worse graphics, I would really like to know. And if the people who did the graphics for this game are watching, or if the person who did it, if it was only one person, wouldn't surprise me. I'm sorry for saying the graphics suck, but they do. And if anybody from Mindscape or anybody who developed this game is watching, hey, you guys did a really good job. And I don't know what's with the pink house. I guess Chris Crocker's gotta be in this game or something. Oh! And I died. So anyways, I'll just play through this level, and then, or try to die actually, so I can show you the game over screen. It's pretty hilarious. Okay, well, I'll switch to the next level. Again, that slap bass is from James Bond Jr. It's like, see, the composer couldn't even fix the mistakes he made in the MIDI file. It's like, if I don't know if you heard that screw up in the bass, but where it accidentally plays the wrong note, but I don't know. It's like the composer had like 2 seconds to compose the music, and they're like, you know, it's like they made this game literally in a day. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, at least it's not like Action 52 where it crashes. I'll give it that. But anyways, let me show you the game over screen and get a laugh, I guess. Might be my profile picture in the future. Yeah. Looks pretty embarrassed. Like the hairdo he's got, though. I need to get like that. Anyways, look at this. This is the laziest programmed high score screen I've ever seen. Well, anyways, that's Paperboy for the Super Nintendo. And originally I was intending to only show the Nintendo versions. I wasn't going to show the Game Gear version or Genesis version, or any of the other versions. But I guess as a bonus feature, I'll show you guys the DOS version. So let's check that one out. Okay, so now we got the DOS version, and this game was made in 1991, so let's check it out, see how it does for a DOS game. Now, for some reason, they decided to turn the music way down and turn the sound effects blasting loud. I mean, so you may not hear the music, but it doesn't matter. It's just a simple piano sound. Sounds like it was ported from the Game Boy version, or the Game Boy version was ported from the PC version. Hear that? I mean, I'm actually gonna have to turn the music down or the sound down a little bit because I don't want to wake anybody up here. It's 3 in the morning, so at least this guy's got a guy to play with now, and instead of just playing with themselves. Oh, that didn't sound right. Anyways, it's actually a pretty good version. Now, of course, I die there. This version runs pretty smoothly, though. Controls are pretty fluent. They don't lag. Now, of course, he kind of slows down. And also, that's another thing. The game does not make any sound to confirm that you've hit anything, or that you, like, hit the mailbox. So, you don't know if you got it in or not. And sorry for crashing your... See, that should have hit the door, but instead the awful hit detection is going into the windows. And again, people look like they've been sunburned, so I don't know what's up with that. So anyways, let's continue on here. And this one's got pretty much the same graphics as the Super Nintendo version, though. In fact, they probably ported it from the Super Nintendo graphics from this version. Oh! And hitting that lawnmower. God, I'm surprised that didn't kill me. I mean, a lawnmower going over you, you would expect it to be, you know, you would expect it to kill you or at least do some permanent damage, like cut your balls off or something, but nope, not this version. So, music, I'm gonna have to take off point. It just sounds so bad. The Super Nintendo version, in my opinion, has the best music out of any port. This one doesn't have any percussion, it's just a simple piano sound, and it's just awful. The Amiga version's actually worse. Just you'll hear it. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it sounds awful. Not like ear-piercing awful or anything, but oh! And he should have ran over me, but he didn't. So, anyways, here's the training course. Now, actually, I did a gameplay video of this a long time ago without my commentary or anything, so if you want to see that, feel free to check out the video. It's still on here. Just look up Paperboy 2 in my uploads video on my channel, and you should find it. I can usually get past this training course without dying, though, because I've played the game so many times. So there we go. Got that in the target. Alright. There we go. And still, the people look like crap in this version. You would think on at least the IBM, you know, it would actually look a little bit better, but no. The people still don't really have any skin color. What happened? Oh my god. Okay, I'll do one more level, then I'll stop there. And then show you guys the Amiga version. Now, I asked my dad if any of this stuff happened to him, and I don't know if I said this, I don't know if I mentioned this before in one of my other videos, or other gameplay videos, but I asked my dad, because he was a paperboy and he was like 9 years old, I asked him if any of this stuff happened to him. He told me no, but he could be lying. I mean, there we go, I got it in that time. Alright, so, now this is not necessarily a bad port of Paperboy, it's just that, you know, this is VGA graphics, I would expect a little bit better. I mean, if Wolfenstein 3D could do it, then this can. And, although that was actually released later, a year later, so. But still, there were games like this that were actually, you know, had the same graphics, or had better graphics, and I Had the Beholder. I think I did a video of that thing, or of that game, which is pretty good. But I mean, it looks like everyone lives like 2 feet away from the sun. I mean, I don't know what happened. I mean, it must be hard living in Easy Street because, I mean, you're always having to deal with sunburns and stuff. I mean, just sitting on a crapper might get you burnt or something. I mean. Imagine that, trying to take a lava shit or something, you know, it's like you just cannot stand it. It's like having a baby because it hurts like hell when you try to take a dump. I mean, your ass is burning, and I mean, yeah, that's what it's like. It's like you're sitting your ass on that thing, on that stove. Okay, I'm not going to be any disgusting anymore, but still, the graphics need a little bit more improvement. Other than that, other than the people, the graphics are pretty good. I like the way the grass looks. I like the way like the houses look and stuff. Those are pretty good. But other than that, most of the stuff just sucks. Oh my god. Let's see. Oh. So anyways, this is Paperboy 2 on MS-DOS. 4 out of 5. You know. The graphics aren't all that good, and I guess 3 out of 5 because the music needs to be a lot better. It needs percussion. If the NES version had percussion and the Super Nintendo version had percussion, why isn't this? And also, why is it just a simplistic piano sound? Why can't they use other instruments like the Super Nintendo version? Alright, well, this is the DOS for you. Let's check out the Amiga version. I wasn't really intending to do that one because I couldn't find a ROM for it, but I just did, and I played it for the first time a few minutes ago, so you're going to get my first impressions on it. So let's check it out. Okay, so here we are with the Amiga version. That's going to be kind of like my first impressions kind of thing, so bear with me here. So the graphics of this version, when I played it for the first time, it actually looked exactly like the Super Nintendo and DOS version, so I guess that's good. But again, the music in this version is actually worse. Now they use a cool bell sound, and this one actually does play a sound when you successfully deliver a paper, so that's good, unlike the DOS version. Yeah, the graphics are pretty much the same, but listen to how bad the music is. Now, it sounds like that version was actually ported from the NES version or the Game Boy version, because that one doesn't even have any sound. Now, I can't get this game to run any faster, so it's going to run pretty slow. thing's just the emulator though, so I'm not really going to complain or downgrade the game because of that. But I have to ask, why? Why does Paperboy have purple pants? I mean, were those a thing in the 90s? Because I sure don't remember that. If I did that, I would have got my ass handed to me at school. What's with the dog? Looked like he was shoving something up his butt, but whatever. I said I wasn't going to be disgusting anymore, and I'm going to try to be true to my word. So that ghost actually goes faster in the later levels, in case you don't know. I actually did beat Easy Street once, but that was it. The game was so hard, I kind of gave up after that. If I have beat the game, but I've cheated, I've used save states and stuff. If you beat the game, it's nothing special, it's just one screen, entering your name in the high scores. There's not even any credits or anything. You know, they should have listed themselves in the game, you know, if they, like, they were probably afraid, you know, that, oh, you know, everyone's going to hate this game and they're going to want to kill anybody who was designing this game. I think, you know, if I knew anybody who worked on this game, I would have seriously told them good job. And if the graphics person's watching, sorry for, you know, complaining about the graphics, but they're just crap as far as the people go. I liked everything else. Everything else was great. But, I mean, the people just need, you know, more skin color. Actually, the guy, you know, yeah, see, the baby, I don't think, in the Super Nintendo version, I don't think it has blonde hair like that, but I don't know what's up with the colors of the people in this version. I don't know if this is, like the Americas, like where the Indians live or something. And I'm not trying to be racist here, but that's what it seriously looks like. Now, people might, you know, if people are offended by that, I'm sorry. That's why I said, you know, earlier, you know, did they get a bad sunburn? Because I didn't want to bring up any racist stuff. But, I mean, I don't know. Look at this. Oh, I'm probably going to hit it. Oh, I hit the meat and I fall off my bike. Thought I would run over that. It's pretty tough meat there. That didn't sound right. But I mean, seriously, that music just needs to go. And see, that also proves that this game was rushed, because the music could have been a lot better. If you don't know about the Amiga a whole lot, it's pretty much like a computerized version of the Super Nintendo. I mean, it's got the same kind of graphics. It's got sampled instruments for music. And, you know, I'm not really technically, you know, I don't know a whole lot technically about the Amiga. I just know about the graphics and sound pretty much. So, and you know, I'm trying to get a real copy of this game, even though I don't have an Amiga. Now that I've actually heard the Amstrad CPC version of this song, or of the game of Paperboy 2, it's actually a different song, but it sounds even worse. But seriously, all they did was like take a sine wave, and that's it. That's what the instrument is. It's just a sine wave, and if you don't know what a sine wave is, it's a waveform that looks like a sideways S. That's pretty much what it is. You could look it up on Google Images or something. I'm sure you'll find a lot of images of it. And I'll try one more time. Oh, God. So, you might ask, what do I rate this version? Well, I give this version, well, I'll give it 3 out of 5. The music just sucks in this version. I mean, seriously, I need to get more instruments, and I'm gonna crash into this thing, whether I like it or not. And also, the graphics of the people still have not been improved. And I know they could have improved the color of them, but they didn't. You know, I would complain of, and also, why is the Paperboy's pants purple? Seriously, nobody wore purple pants back then, or at least not a whole lot of people. Definitely not guys or Paperboys. Seriously, if there's any Paperboy that you know that wears purple pants, why don't you let me know? Not even the guy on the front cover of this game wears purple pants. It's another thing. Couldn't they change his pants to like black or something, or brown or something? Or blue even, like the Super Nintendo version. I know Player 2 has purple pants. That's okay if you're like Paper Girl or something, but not Paper Boy. What were they thinking? Alright, well I shouldn't really ask that because I'll be considered an AVGN ripoff, but I seriously gotta ask what they were thinking. And I don't know. So 3 out of 5 for this version. If you're wondering what version of this game to play, I would definitely go for the Super Nintendo version. Now I was gonna sell the Sega Genesis version and the Game Gear version, but the CPC version, but I can't get a Amstrad CPC emulator working for the life of me, and I sucked at the Genesis version. I couldn't even get a paper in one of the mailboxes or anything, and I'm imagining the Game Gear version's the same, so maybe I'm making an assumption here. And maybe I'll get to the Master or the Genesis and Game Gear version sometime. But for now, these are pretty much the Nintendo versions and the computer versions, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you have any questions or comments about this game, please let me know in the comment section. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out. Hope you enjoyed.